Hey guys, this is week 9 of my series titled 52 Weeks of Reaper. Weekly, I'll be releasing a new video focusing on key features in Reaper that makes it such an amazing DAW. So for this week, we're going to be focusing on pitch correction in Reaper. So let's jump right into it. So the key things we're going to be focusing on today is the basic pitch correction plugin that's in Reaper and some of my personal workflow tips that I haven't seen anyone on the internet implementing in their workflow. This was something that I stumbled upon and I think it's amazing. So here we go. First of all, let's look at the plugin, and it's called ReaTune. So it is resizable and it has 3 tabs. So up here, the first tab is an actual tuner that you would use to tune an instrument like a guitar. Then we have another tab where we have correction. This is your auto correction section, similar to something like auto tune. So up here, you would check where it says automatic pitch correction. You can set your key. You can set a scale type. Let's go minor. So we got B minor. And then if you notice, there are some notes unchecked and some notes checked. Down here, you can adjust the attack time. So how smoothly you want the auto tune to sound. If you wanted to have that very robotic sound, you would bring this number all the way down to a very low number like 0 or 5. I'm assuming these are milliseconds. Down here, we have a drop-down menu with some pitch algorithms. So based on the type of audio that you have, that you are pitch correcting, you can try out these different algorithms. And right here, we have it set to monophonic, and they have options for speech. So that's the auto correction section of this ReaTune plugin. Next up over here now, which is what we're going to be focusing on today, mainly for the video, is the manual pitch correction. So you see over here, you can check off manual pitch correction, and then you can track the pitch, but we're not going to do that because I'm going to show you a different workflow. Usually with the track pitch, you would have to put the plugin on the track, I guess, and then hit track pitch, make sure that's checked off. Then you'd have to play the audio so that it picks it up, and then you start your pitch correction from there. But we are not going to do that. We're going to work with a totally different workflow. So let's get rid of this. And before we start doing that, there's something that I'm going to have to explain with the audio. So here we have some audio that I recorded. It's 3 different harmony parts. Each track is a different harmony. I'm going to play it real quick. It was recorded sloppily on purpose, note-wise, because we're going to pitch correct. So this is what I have here. So just a simple harmony part with 3-part harmony, and we're gonna go through that, pitch correct it, and make it sound nice. So here are some workflow tips that I've implemented. Now, disclaimer, you do not have to do it this way. I'm just showing you some workflow tips that I implement that have helped me to work quickly and smoothly. So first of all, if you notice, for this one track here, I have 4 different takes. You guys remember from last week's video, we talked about takes and audio items, takes and all that good stuff. So we're piggybacking and we're building off of that knowledge. So on this one audio track, I have one item that has 4 takes. So whenever I'm recording my harmony parts, anything that I have to layer and or stack, I usually, for harmony, each note I usually do 4 notes most times. If I'm doing a choir sound, then each note gets 8 takes. It's very tedious. Once I had to do about 36 takes because I had so many harmony parts, and each harmony part had to be done 8 times. So what I do, because most times I'm recording myself in my booth, in my studio setup, I don't want to have to keep walking back and forth to record each take. So I set a loop section in Reaper by dragging up here by the ruler. And then what I will do is make sure that you come down here, this is the record button, right click and set it to this mode where it says time selection, auto punch in. So it's gonna automatically punch in once it hits the time selection area that I've created, and it would automatically punch out when it gets to the end of that area. But I also have the loop turned on, so it's gonna automatically loop. So every time it loops around, it's gonna now create a new take. So I can just stay in the booth and record on this track 4 times in a row on a loop, and it's gonna give me 4 takes, and I'm singing the same part over and over again. So now we have 4 parts recorded for that one note. I did the same thing for this track and for this track. Let's color code these tracks real quickly. So this one, I will make it a dark orange, this one a lighter orange, and this one an even lighter orange. So we know these are the different parts. So now, another thing to understand is, even though I have these 4 takes that represents the one harmony part recorded 4 different times, Reaper is not seeing it stacked on top of each other like this. It's showing it to you like that, but the way it's actually seeing it, if you actually pulled up the file in Windows and played it, it's gonna look something more like, not to say look, but this is a better representation. So it's take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4, and it would be more like this. That's what Reaper is seeing, minus these breaks in the middle, minus these breaks. It's just looking at it as one long thing. So if I try to implement the method I'm gonna show you, and you don't follow the steps all the way, what you're gonna have is, because everything is not lined up on top of each other, we're going to correct this and then copy the correction down to the next one on another track. But because they're in different time positions, the correction will not line up, because the first correction is going to be here, and then when you paste it, it's going to be going here where there's nothing here. The next take has the audio over here, and here is blank. So we have to make sure that Reaper is seeing each one as just a 4-bar file and not this 16-bar file with takes at every 4-bar increment. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's undo all of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate this first track 4 times. Well, not 4 times, 3 times, because I need 4 of them because we have 4 takes. And for each track, I'm gonna select a different take. So for the first track, we're gonna do first take, second track, second take, the next track here, third take. And the last track, we're gonna do the 4th take. So now we essentially have the same part recorded 4 times, and they're each on their own track. Let's label these tracks to reflect that correctly. So right now, this is called BGV Harm Mid. So we're gonna call this Mid 1, hit tab, Mid 2, hit tab, Mid 3, mid 4. So recording it this way just saves me from walking back and forth. I could just record 4 takes, and once I know I have 4 good takes, I can stop and do this method. So now, because I have everything set up, these are all different takes on these 4 tracks. I'm gonna highlight all of these, set an in and out point so that it's gonna bounce evenly as far as in the 4-bar section. And I'm gonna hit Control-Shift-G. And what that did was it bounced everything to a single audio file. So now Reaper is seeing each of these as their own individual 4-bar WAV file. So now we can implement the steps of pitch correcting in a very quick and efficient way. So with what back in the day I used to use Melodyne. Melodyne is a great software, and the thing with Melodyne is it can be a little bit costly, and has great features. It sounds great, but Melodyne had this feature where if you are pitch correcting in a situation like this, where you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again because it's literally the same pitches that we're going to be selecting. Melodyne had a way where you can mirror the last one you corrected on top of the next one you're correcting, so you can see the choices and just mimic it to speed up the workflow. So you're not trying to figure out what was the last decisions you made pitch-wise on the last take of the same vocals, the same harmony part, I should say. So now, here, what we can do in Reaper is I'm going to add the effect as a clip effect as opposed to adding it as a track insert. I'm going to put it directly on the clip. So I have a keyboard shortcut to add this plugin. So I'll just do it that way. We'll talk about that in another video, setting up keyboard shortcuts to load plugins. So now that I have it open, I do not have to check track pitch up here. I don't have to do that and then play it and then wait for Reaper to wait for the plugin to track the pitch. I can just actually just hit update, and Reaper is going to update and it tracked the pitch. This is the pitch. Let me mute these other tracks. I'm just hearing this one. Another cool thing with Reaper is you can just swipe on the buttons to mute solo things quickly. You don't have to go clicking one at a time. All right, so here goes the notes. So we're not very far off, and the way Reaper works is you just draw a line. That's it. And the line snaps to the center where you see these dotted black lines. It's just gonna snap. So I'm just gonna do this very roughly. I'm not gonna sit down and try to perfect everything, but this is pretty much it. That's why I chose this vocal arrangement, because it's simple to correct, just some simple ahs. You guys don't want to sit here and watch me pitch correct a vocal part with actual words and stuff. It gets a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more tedious. But for this example, so see right here, my note goes up here and it's kind of sliding in between. I think it's supposed to be here. And then this kind of dips. This dip down here is natural, but then we want it to catch back up and back to that note. So this is what it sounds like now with the pitch correction. So even with these somewhat staccato parts. Before we're scooping up, we're starting here. So let's define that. Let's hear it again. All right, so that's it. This is pitch corrected. I'm pleased with it, but I don't want to have to do that over and over again. So the cool thing is I can just drag this down here. It opens up with the correction already in, and then all I have to do is hit update. So it can track pitch. You see right here, I'm sharp over here, a little funky over there, but it's gonna correct it. And then I just continue doing that. So the next one, hit update, it updates. Then last one, drag it down, hit update, it updates. Hey guys, here's a quick note from the editor's desk. When I was just dragging things down, I don't know if it was clear where I was dragging and copying the corrected pitch from as far as ReaTune is concerned. I'm gonna show it while I'm talking. There is a little blue icon because remember I inserted it as a clip effect. So once I was done doing the pitch correction on the first one, I'm dragging that little blue icon that says effect down to the next track on top of that audio item. It's copying ReaTune with all the pitch correction that I did onto the next audio item. So that's what you see me dragging down. Reaper automatically just copies it to the next clip that you drag it to. So that's another cool, quick feature in Reaper. With the clip effect, I can just grab that little icon, blue icon that says effect, and just drag it down to another audio item on another track or on the same track, and it'll just copy that instance with all the settings that you have set up to the next audio item / audio clip. So back to the video. And now all 4 of these are now pitch corrected. And then I can now set levels and pan. Let's do that real quick. So this is what it sounds like with the pitch correction off. Now this is what it sounds like with the pitch correction on. So once again, I applied the pitch correction directly to the clips, and if I'm pleased with this, I think it's all good. Which usually with background vocals, I don't like to overthink it. Then I would select everything, make sure my range is set to where I want it to be rendered. And then I would once again render in place or glue it, whatever you want to call it. And now all of those are going to be written to the file pitch correction is done. The plugin is gone. We're not using up any DSP, any processing anymore. We have fully pitch corrected vocals ready to go. And what I do, once again, this is a part of my workflow. You don't have to do this. I will highlight all of them and open notes for each clip. And then I would type in pitch corrected. If I can type. I would type in pitch corrected. And paste that in. Hit OK. Paste. OK. Paste. OK. Paste. OK. So I do that. It creates a note on each of these files. So let me zoom in. There's this little note now. This icon is now blue. And if you hover, it says pitch corrected. I do that so when I come back days later, weeks later, there's no guesswork. Did I pitch correct these? I can just click on this, it'll open, or I can hover and it says, this is what the note is saying, pitch corrected. And I can open the note and see the notes for each file. So peace of mind, so I know where everything is at. So I'm gonna go through the rest of these, pitch correct them, duplicate them, do everything I just did, pitch correct them, set the levels, and then let you guys hear what it sounds like. But that's basically my workflow with pitch correcting groups of vocals where you have things that are repetitive, and it's just a faster workflow doing it this way. So here we are, the second set of harmony notes have been duplicated, pitch corrected, and we're gonna list them real quick while I label them as pitch corrected. So let me go back in and pitch correct the last set of these background vocals, and then we'll come back and hear what it sounds like. So here's what it sounds like with all the vocals pitch corrected. And here's what it sounds like with me setting up a bus and setting up some effects. Yeah, that's this crazy reverb that I talked about a couple weeks ago from Psyche, JS plugin. Very nice, very nice. All right, so you guys get the point. So that is what the vocals sound like now, night and day from the mess that it sounded like at the beginning. So the pitch correction part is very important in your music production pipeline, and it was very crucial for me. It was a deal breaker when I was looking about 5.5 years ago, looking to switch DAWs. That was always a deal breaker for me. What is the pitch correction situation like in the DAW? How is it implemented, and how effective it is. I come from using Melodyne and being used to that workflow, and I feel like this workflow is even better. It's built into Reaper. It's a part of Reaper. It's default Reaper plugins, and it sounds great. I like how it handles vibrato better than Melodyne. And it's pretty straightforward. It can be very transparent, or you can make it very digital and very apparent. So that's it for this week, guys. Pitch correction in Reaper. Thanks for watching, and check back next week. And as always, you'll see me in the next video.